Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome to another live stream here on Jets Media. I'm joined by my brother Jack, and we're going to try to give you guys everything that's happening right now with the Jets because it's pretty chaotic right now. Shout out to everybody tuning in, whether you're on Twitter, whether you're on YouTube. Welcome into the stream, guys. There's so many things that's happening today, and I feel like we need to go live and talk about this because I can't make these videos about it. I made a video about Bless Austin being released. I made a video about Red Wine getting signed. And then I'm like, okay, do I make a video about all the practice squad stuff or should I just go live and talk about it? So here we are. Jack, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing very well, man. It feels like the first day of free agency all over again. I tweeted that a couple minutes ago. And, yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now with all this crazy stuff that's happening. So we got a lot of breaking news to get into, and I'm just excited to be have the opportunity to get on here and talk about it with you.
Yeah, man, I love these spontaneous live streams. Did not expect myself to be here. I was actually had plans, and I canceled. I'm like, yo, I can't do anything else but talk about the Jets because this is pretty ridiculous on what's going on. So first and foremost, let's talk about the most surprising news today, which was Bless Austin being released out of absolutely nowhere. I don't think any of us saw that one coming. Jack, do you want to give your thoughts about the Bless Austin release before I give my input?
Yeah, overall, I liked Bless Austin. I wanted to see him improve, but at the end of the day, it's not an incredible loss. I feel like Bless Austin's best attribute of his game was his ability to tackle as a defensive back and to hit. And I feel like that's, obviously not the primary responsibility of a cornerback. And his coverage game has always been a little lacking. So I feel like, it's not really the worst to see Bless Austin go. At the same time, we're now left with an even more inexperienced secondary than it already was. But Brandon Echols has had a great camp, and he's looked good in the preseason games. I have faith in him to step up and do well. Michael Carter the second, I think, can step in and do well as well. And it's apparently Joe Douglas did explore the trade market. It sucks that we're releasing Bless Austin. We didn't get anything for him. But at the end of the day, it feels like anybody that doesn't fit the long-term vision of Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas, especially a player like Bless Austin, who's probably due for a new contract sometime soon. Same vibe with Chris Herndon as well. Anybody that doesn't fit the long-term vision of Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas is getting the boot. And Bless Austin was one of those guys, man. So now it's time for Brandon Echols, Michael Carter II, to step up.
Yeah,
and we'll see what we got.
It is crazy. And we heard from Robert Saleh right before practice started. And there's a lot of other things happening that we'll get into, guys. Don't worry. Like Jamison Crowder's not at practice. So obviously that raised some eyebrows. What's going on over there? The Chris Herndon trade, the practice squad signings, Red Wine being signing Quincy Williams, who is the brother of Quinn Williams. We're going to get into everything in the stream, but we're going to start off with the Bless Austin situation. I want to give my thoughts of it. I made a whole video about it, but after hearing Robert Saleh talk about it, it really makes us Jets fans understand the vision for this team is their mindset is on the future. And that's exactly what I was told from Robert Saleh, not personally, but in the press conference before practice. Obviously, they do not see a long-term future with Bless Austin. He did not impress the coaching staff in training camp and preseason. He didn't really get to play a lot. So, and he doesn't really have any years left on his contract. So if the Jets feel like Bless Austin is not part of their future plans long-term, then Joe Douglas tried to get some trade compensation because he's a wizard. He can somehow get trade value for players that don't really have a lot of value, hence Chris Herndon. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that with Bless Austin, and that's pretty impossible. But it's good to see that he actually tried. And then he said, you know what? I'm going to cut Bless because Bless Austin is not part of our long-term vision. I want to give these rookie cornerbacks every single opportunity to develop because that's what their goal is with Joe Douglas and the whole personnel department and the Jets coaching staff is to bring in these very young rookie cornerbacks and develop, because if we want to develop Brennan Eccles and Pinnock and all these guys over time, they're not going to develop without getting out there on the field. And if they felt deep down, Bless Austin, he's probably not going to be on the team next year. He hasn't looked this good, that good so far in camp. So why not we just move on from him? Let's pencil in Brennan Eccles as the CB number 2. We have rookie Michael Carter II, who's going to be sharing time in the slot with Javelin Guidry. We have Jason Pinnock. The only undrafted free agent to make the 53-man roster is Isaiah Dunn. So, and then Justin Hardy as well, but he's more of a special teams guy. So the cornerback room, we know that this was the weakest position on the squad. And it was very shocking to find out that our, most experienced player in that room got released. But then if you think about it, Robert Saleh understands that this season is not, for winning the division. It's not for winning the Super Bowl. They have their minds on the long-term goal. They're trying to build a foundation here, and they're going to take the punches. They know what to expect this season, and Jets fans have to realize that we don't have a front office that's very short-term thinking. We don't have a front office that's like, okay, let's get a short-term fix right now. Let's go sign, a veteran corner and, just roll the dice and have him and Bryce and try to do something this year. Instead, they have the mindset of like, okay, let's get these young guys every single opportunity to play, because if we can get Brennan Eccles to develop into a starting cornerback next year, that's huge. So that's really their mindset. It definitely is shocking. I'm not saying I expected this at all, but for Bless Austin to be, released is pretty crazy. Did we just get some news?
I'm looking at it right now. No, I think it's fake news.
Okay. So Jamison Crowder is not at practice today. I'm not going to read too much into that until I see something come out, of the media. But yeah, so that's really it on the Bless Austin situation. Expect Brennan Eccles to get all the playing time at the CB2 spot, as well as Pinnock, as well as Isaiah Dunn. And then in the slot, we have Javelin Guidry and Michael Carter II. So it's definitely going to be pretty fun. So I want to give your thoughts, Jack, on the Chris Herndon trade. So what's your thoughts about the Jets being able to acquire a 4th-round pick by giving up Chris Herndon and a 6th-round pick? So we essentially moved up 2 rounds in next year's draft, and now Joe Douglas has even more draft capital, or should you say premier draft capital, because he's essentially just moved up 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think it's another classic move by Joe Douglas. I don't know how he keeps doing it, but Chris Herndon is a guy that I didn't think was worth a 4th-round pick, and to see other beat reporters from teams around the league and NFL reporters and stuff like that say the Vikings have solved their problem at tight end, signing Jets tight end Chris Herndon. I'm like, all right, take him, have fun, good luck. We'll take the 4th-round pick. More ammo for Joe Douglas to go out there and do what he does. I fully expect cornerback and tight end to be positions of priority in the next offseason. So I think the fact that we got a 4th-round pick for a guy like Chris Herndon, who we kind of all felt like was dead weight at this point, is amazing. It's I can't believe Joe Douglas swung it. Chris Herndon, good luck in Minnesota. I don't have any real hatred towards Chris Herndon. He just didn't work out. He had a great rookie season, hurt the next year, was absolutely awful last year, and here we are. He's no longer a New York Jet. I don't think it's the end of the world at all. We have Tyler Kroft, who looks promising. We'll see what else happens in the coming days or even hours with the tight end position. Yeah, that's about it. I think. Did we hear that Ryan Griffin and somebody else were added back to the roster or something like that?
Yeah, so right now we only have 2 tight ends on the active roster, Tyler Croft and Trevon Wesco, and Wesco's our fullback. We signed Kenny Yeboah to the practice squad, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We cut Ryan Griffin, we cut Daniel Brown. So, and Robert Saleh spoke to the media today, and he said that they're going to be adding tight ends. Whether 1 or 2 tight ends, we don't know. We don't know if that's coming via the trade, via a signing, a waiver. We don't know how the hell they're going to do it, but it was really interesting. I was live yesterday during my live reaction for the 53-man roster, and to see the Jets cut all of our tight ends, I was like, what's happening? We trade away Chris Herndon. We cut Yeboah. We cut Griffin. We cut Brown, and we have 2 tight ends on the roster. I'm like, okay, something is happening that we don't know. We just have to somehow be patient in order to see what's going to happen. I still have no idea what to expect with the tight end position. I definitely Saleh confirmed that we are going to bring somebody in. We just don't know who it is. Luckily, Kenny Yeboah did not get claimed, and he is indeed on the practice squad. He's at practice right now with the Jets, which is awesome. We know he's a fan favorite. So great to have Kenny Yeboah back on the practice squad. And speaking on the practice squad, let's go over some guys that the Jets have announced that they have signed. Hold on one second.
Yeah, I just said that thing about the tight ends because U Stadium tweeted 2 hours ago, and I don't know, I mean, they don't have the check next to the name, but I see them all the time, and they're always breaking stuff. Jets are expected to sign Ryan Griffin and Daniel Brown to the active roster at some point today. They're expected to place a few players on the IR. So there it is. That was 2 hours ago.
Yeah, okay. So that makes sense. That's another thing with the 53-man roster is when they keep players and they cut players, but it's not like finalized until they put players on IR because it opens up roster spots. It's confusing, guys.
Yeah. The tight end position, it might suck all year. That's the most likely scenario is that we're gonna have a very crappy tight end core this year, and I think Joe Douglas will address it with high priority in the offseason next year.
Facts. So far, here are the players that are on the Jets practice squad. It's not every single player, but here are some. Kenny Yeboah, Josh Adams, which is very awesome because I was worried he was not going to be able to sign with us and get claimed somewhere else. Hamilcar Rashed Jr., the edge rusher, undrafted free agent. Quarterback, Josh Johnson. So he is our 3rd quarterback. And for those guys that don't know, James Morgan is gone. He has signed with the Carolina Panthers to their practice squad, which absolutely sucks. And if you want to think about James Morgan give away all of our secrets. The same thing happened against the Bills in 2019. But hopefully Morgan keeps his mouth shut, but we'll see what happens with that. Ronnie Blair, the defensive lineman, edge rusher. DJ Montgomery, wide receiver. Sharon Niesman, safety, and Vincent Smith. So those are the 8 guys on the practice squad so far for the New York Jets. Expect another 8 to be signed eventually. Good to see that to happen. For sure. I love that we got Josh Adams back. I love that we got Kenny Yeboah back. I'm happy that we have Vincent Smith. There's a lot to be happy about with the practice squad so far, but there's going to be a lot of moves to be being made. And we're just getting started on today's stream because it's so overwhelming to think about what's happening with this Jets squad. We don't know what's going on with Crowder at practice. We don't know what's going on at the waiver wire with the trades, who's getting on the IR, who's getting on the team. But, man, this is crazy. Jimmy Murray's also on the practice squad. Thank you, Maxwell. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Thank you guys for tuning in to a spontaneous live stream with Jack and myself. Make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button on your way into the stream. Let's get as many Jets fans in here and experience this hectic day together as Jets fans. We got 30 likes with 130 you guys watching. So let's get this to around 50 likes. If you guys can do that, that would be awesome. So let's get into our claimed, the players that the New York Jets have claimed with their waiver wire. So let's see. Waiver wire claims. We got Quinn Williams' brother, which is so sick, Quincy. I'm just making it there. Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams is a very interesting player. Simply because he is the brother of our guy Quinnen, and he's a linebacker. We're bringing him in as a depth piece, and
to a thin linebacker room though.
Yeah, exactly. So what are your thoughts of the Jets signing Quinnen's brother?
First of all, Quinnen's brother. Let's get that off the table. It's dope. Doesn't matter if he sucks. It's dope that Quinnen Williams, arguably the biggest fan favorite player on this team, is we have his brother on the roster. That's awesome. So but as an actual player, I don't know much about his game. I really don't think many people out there do, besides, they will now, obviously. But we have a very thin young linebacker room. Gerard Davis is going to be missing time. He's probably not going to be back until after the week 6 bye. That's what it's looking like for him. So, we're rolling out with CJ Mosley, who needs to stay healthy. And then we got Hamza Nasruddin and Jamie Sherwood, 2 rookies who look very promising, but, rookies stepping into very important roles. So it's just nice to have depth in a thin linebacker room already. And the fact that he's Quinnen's brother makes it pretty dope. So I'm on board for Quincy and Quinnen for sure.
Love it. And the other guy that we signed or claimed in the waiver is edge rusher Tim Ward, who's a 24-year-old from the Kansas City Chiefs. He only has 1 game appearance and it was in garbage time last season, and he actually got a sack. So we'll see what Tim Ward can do. It seems like the Jets are definitely prioritizing the defensive side of the ball when it comes to these acquisitions right now. We're getting linebacker depth. We're getting, edge depth. And then another guy that we signed to the active roster is the greatest name of all time, Sheldrick Redwine. So Sheldrick Redwine is I kind of want his jersey already. I kind of want to pour up a nice glass of Cabernet and watch some red wine highlights. You down for that, Jack?
I'm down.
Yeah, so Redwine's an interesting, player. He was a former 4th-round pick out of Miami. He's been in the league for 2 years, and he's somebody that's just going to provide depth at this safety position that we desperately need. We have 2 veterans starting, as we know, LaMarcus Joyner and Marcus May, and then Ashton Davis entering year number 2. So outside of those 3 safeties, we don't really have anybody else. So the Jets felt like, okay, let's get a guy in Sheldrick Redwine who, is in a very deep, secondary with the Browns. The Browns defense is very good this year. They're getting really, really, a lot of talent over there. So they can't keep all their players. This is a 4th-round pick from 2 years ago. Had a very good collegiate career in Miami. He looked very good. A lot of Browns fans fell in love with Redwine. They felt like they got the steal of the draft, and then he didn't really pan out for them. And so the Jets decided to go out there and sign him to the active roster. And what this tells me is they're just looking for depth at the positions of need. And I always looked at the safety position as a glaring hole on this team in terms of depth. So what's your thoughts of Redwine, Jack?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I feel like, we need another signing. We just need depth in a pretty thin area. And, I trust Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich to get the best out of all these players. So, he didn't really work out with Cleveland as the fans expected, as you said. And, hopefully he can turn around with the Jets. And if nothing else, just add a bit of depth to a thin defensive back. Not necessarily thin, but very young and inexperienced defensive back room as a whole.
Yeah, man. I feel like he actually played very well for the Cleveland Browns. And I saw a lot of Browns fans wishing him the best when he found out that the Jets are signing him. So hopefully he can, play well for us if he does get any playing time. We don't know if that's the case, but we will see. So yeah, guys, we're trying to stay up to date what's going on right now at Jets practice. I know that Joe Douglas is going to speak to the media sometime later today, so we can hear from him about what's going on with this Jets team, his thoughts on the Chris Herndon trade, and all that great stuff. But man, it's pretty crazy that this Jets team is making all these roster moves. Joe Douglas understands that he has a lot of work to do, and he's doing it. And it's so hard to keep up with it, guys. Just so bear with Jack and myself. We're trying to give you guys all the latest news live right here. On Twitter, I'm just keep refreshing it, waiting to see anything that's happening, because with the Bless Austin cut, that's really insane. With the 53-man roster cut down, and we don't only have 2 tight ends, and then we find out from U Stadium potentially that we are going to sign Ryan Griffin and Daniel Brown to the roster right when we place some guys on the IR. We're still waiting to see who's going to be signed to the practice squad outside of the 8 players we just mentioned. We find out that a lot of things. So guys, if you want to ask Jack and I any questions in the chat, feel free to do so. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about that. Because we're just getting started on the stream. We're 20 minutes in. I don't know how live we're going. This is very spontaneous. I don't have any timetable. But we're just chilling, man, on a nice rainy what is it? Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday.
To Wednesday,
afternoon.
we got a big time fantasy draft tonight.
We do.
So yeah. It's a good day, guys. It's a good day. It's an exciting day. I had a live stream already today with my buddy over at Let's Talk Sports this morning. So make sure you guys go sub him up and check out the live stream. We do a weekly Jets show over there. And yeah, it seems that every time I end the stream with him, something happens almost right away or later that day. And here I am with you now, back again, talking more Jets breaking news, man. So we're just in the thick of it right now. Any surprise cuts for you, Rich? Any that left you scratching your head a little bit?
All the tight ends, like that was the first thing that I noticed. I just saw every single tight end cut and then Herndon being traded. So I was like, what's happening?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Are we about to trade for Travis Kelce or something? Like,
and also that answer, I mean, we saw the U Stadium thing. We there's speculation going on all over Twitter about what they're going to do with the tight end. But as of right now, it's still very much unanswered. Nothing's set in stone besides Tyler Kroft is going to be our number one tight end. Yeah. And that's about it as of right now. So, like, there's all sort of speculation everywhere. But as of right now, we don't know. So
and our other tight end on the roster, Wesco, is our fullback.
Yeah.
And I know I see a lot of Jets fans saying Ben Mason, sign Ben Mason. If you remember, Jack, Ben Mason was that fullback in the draft.
Of course I remember, man.
And the Ravens cut him, so he's available.
Oh, yeah?
So a lot of Jets fans want to bring Ben Mason in. Maybe he could be the fullback, be our own Kyle Juszczyk, and then slide Wesco back to tight end. I don't know. What are your thoughts of doing that, bringing in Ben Mason?
I don't know that it would be something that's on their radar. I think the fact that Wesco is where he's at now, on the 53, I think that they're pretty happy with Wesco's position as a fullback. I don't know that they would go out and get Ben Mason. Obviously, like, it's still a guy that's, big in the minds of Jets fans because around draft time, he was, on all of our draft boards in the later rounds. It was pretty much Ben Mason and then that kicker to Borregales to end every mock draft for every Jets fan. But I don't think that it would personally be on Joe Douglas's radar. I think that Wesco can fill the role of the fullback pretty nicely. I don't really want to see the ball in his hands ever. But him as a lead blocker is definitely ideal. So I like him as a fullback.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree. I see some Jets fans complaining about Wesco as a fullback. I disagree. I feel like he is a quality tight end / fullback hybrid, and that's something you need. You need versatility. This is a player that's available. Jacob Hollister. He was a productive tight end for the Seattle Seahawks, and he's available. So we'll see if that's going to be an option for the Jets. We know that we're going to bring in a tight end, and we just don't know who. This is a good question. Do you think our O-line is good enough? I definitely think this offensive line is good enough. The only issue I have with this offensive line going into the season is the depth. I feel like the injuries will be scary if we get any, especially on the interior. We're lucky to have a amazing swing tackle opportunity with George Fant. Say, hypothetically, Moses wins that right tackle job. We don't know who it's going to be, but everyone assumes it's going to be Morgan Moses. And then say either Makai or Moses goes down, we have George Fant to plug in at left or right tackle. That's a huge luxury to have right now. But the issue is somebody on the inside goes down. Like, I don't know. The depth is really thin, and that's what scares me about this offensive line. But if you want to talk about the 5 guys we have, the Jets front office, I heard someone say this on a podcast, but the Jets feel like their best offensive lineman on the roster right now is Elijah Vera-Tucker. That's who they really feel like is going to be the best player on this team. And that's not a knock on Mekhi Becton at all. That's just how much they have hope in Elijah Vera-Tucker. So if AVT and Mekhi Becton can stay healthy all year, I really feel like this Jets O-line is going to be something special. I really do, especially for the future. And we also have to ground our expectations because AVT is a rookie. He's going to have rookie mistakes. even there's no way he's going to have a Mekhi Becton rookie year, but you never know because Mekhi went out there as a rookie and looked like a veteran. Like he barely had any rookie mistakes. I remember going into last year, I'm like, guys, Mekhi's a rookie. He's going to get beat a lot. He's going to have some rookie pains, but he would absolutely shut down any premier pass rusher. And we're like, okay, this is just the next, whatever. He's just great. So, Jack, what's your thoughts about this offensive line, your expectations going into this year?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head, bro. I think that when it comes down to the starting 5 guys that we have out there, I think certainly our offensive line is definitely good enough. When it comes to the depth, however, I think we're certainly lacking, especially on the interior, as you said. The goal is to never see Dan Feeney ever play in a real game this year. But that being said, going back to the original point, Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker, Connor McGovern, Greg Van Roten, Morgan Moses. And I'll throw George Fant's name in there as well because he did have a pretty decent season for us last year. He did play well at the right tackle spot last year for us. So to have him now as our swing tackle, our offensive line has come a long way in just one offseason. I know as a fan base, collectively, we're not that high on Greg Van Roten as a whole. He's definitely, I would say, the worst out of that starting 5 for sure. But, hopefully the guys around him will make him play better, and hopefully we can see some improvement out of Greg Van Roten this season. I was hoping for somebody else to win the job in camp, but, it just never happened, man. That's just not how it shook out. The job is GVR's, as it was his last year, so it was his job to lose all along, and he won the job again. So hopefully that means we're going to be seeing some improvement from Greg Van Roten this year. And overall, I definitely think our offensive line, all 5 of those guys healthy, is definitely good enough. I think more than good enough. I think we can be a good offensive line for sure.
And I think the most underrated part about this offensive line and a specific player is Connor McGovern. I think that he has a big opportunity to get back to his, dominant ways when he was in Denver. And he just spoke to the media recently, and he said that this scheme was like meant for him. Like this is what he was, his play style fits his scheme better than anything else. And if you guys remember in Denver, he literally gave up 0 sacks. He was so good. And he gets thrown into the Jets offensive line last year with a terrible scheme. All 5 brand new people. We have some continuity on this offensive line now. We have Connor McGovern, GVR, George Fant, Mekhi Becton. They all played together last year. That's a huge factor. So that's a big thing about offensive line is continuity. Obviously, plugging in AVT there. He's going to be the rookie, and Morgan Moses is a new right tackle. But, Connor McGovern going into year number 2 with the Jets, I would expect big things from him. Not being, a top 5 center in the NFL, but he's a seasoned veteran. He has a lot of experience in this league, and the center position is one of the most pivotal parts of the offensive line in terms of communication, keeping everybody in check, calling out the reads, helping out the rookie quarterback. So I really feel like Connor McGovern is poised to have a really big season for us this year. And then shout out to Morgan Moses. I mean, Morgan Moses has, I think, he's like been a part of 78 games, and he started 78 games or something like that. Like he's never missed a game in his life. Like he's Iron Man. Like he doesn't get hurt. I don't want to jinx it, but that's what he's known to be. Just an absolute stud that doesn't get injured. So hopefully he'll be all right. But the right guard position is definitely, GVR going into the season, a little skeptical. We know that that's not going to be our long-term answer. I would love the Jets to draft a right guard or a center or a right tackle early in the draft next year because we know that the left side is solidified for the future. Edge, cornerback in first round, tight end, linebacker in second round for next year. Yeah, man, I can't wait to get into draft talks, but at the same time, I don't really want to because I'm very excited for the season upcoming. But I definitely can see Jets go a lot of different ways in this year's draft with all the capital that we have. Shaq Lawson, 10 sacks? No, I don't have that expectations for Shaq Lawson for sure. For sure. Green Bean reckons that Fant could go to tight end. Do you agree? George Fant has played tight end before for Seattle. I mean, that would be hysterical. Line up Denzel Mims and George Fant at tight end. That would be funny. We'll see about that. But, guys, there's just so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just refreshing Twitter constantly to see if anything else is happening.
Me too, man. Me too. The Jets are currently practicing right now, so I don't really expect anything to happen on that front. But let's see. Any other things in the chat?
Rich Samini tweeted, this is just pretty interesting. regarding the decision to trade Chris Herndon. He wasn't necessarily beat out by Croft because of specific roles, per Robert Saleh. But Joe Douglas saw an opportunity and took advantage, according to Saleh. And then Saleh also said, obviously, he's got a lot of things working at tight end. So it sounds like a move could be pretty imminent, honestly. I think the tight end saga is not done. Obviously, we still have that U Stadium tweet to think about before, although I haven't seen any other source come out with that information. So who knows if that's true or not. In regards to the Jets signing Daniel Brown and Ryan Griffin back to the roster after they put some guys on the injured reserve. But yeah, my prediction is that the tight end saga is not over at all, man. I mean, we got a lot of unanswered questions at the tight end.
It's going to be really interesting, man. Interesting take from Rich Cimini, giving us a little inside info about what's going on with the tight end position. Clifford, what's up, my man? Hope you're doing well. 178 watching, only 56 likes. Smash that like button. Let's go. Richie and Jack are the best content out there. Pride of East Meadow. I appreciate you, man.
Let's go, man. Thanks a lot.
Let's see. Week 1 score predictions and how will Wilson and Darnold play? So,
dude, Panthers, that's our boy. That's our boy. That's
Val's.
That's Val's stepdad.
Yeah.
What up, man? Happy to have you here, buddy.
So week 1 score predictions and how Wilson and Darnold will play. I'm expecting Darnold to play well. I am. The only way Darnold doesn't play well is if our pass rush actually gets to him. I think that's the only thing about it because our cornerbacks, as we know, is a big question mark. And we have to guard DJ Moore. We have to guard Robbie Anderson. And we have to guard Christian McCaffrey. The offense for the Panthers is going to have a pretty productive day in my eyes. So it's going to be up to Zach Wilson and the offense to keep up. And the Panthers have the better defense. They have rookie cornerback J.C. Horn, who had a phenomenal preseason, which scares me. So, I don't really care who looks better, Wilson or Darnold. I just want the Jets to win the game. But score prediction, I don't know, man. It's so tough. I don't want to. What's your thoughts about this, Jack? Thinking about this game is stressing me out, and it's coming up.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like we're kind of underestimating the Carolina Panthers a little bit. They definitely have a much better roster than us, I feel like. And, it's definitely their game to lose for sure. I mean, they're the clear favorites of this game. Obviously, Sam Darnold is going to be their starting quarterback, so that adds a whole nother factor to this game. We know that Sam can make crazy things happen. We know that Sam tends to do the opposite and, throw a lot of picks and make a lot of bad plays and just play losing football. So I think we have, an opportunity to obviously win this game. But at the same time, Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, the Panthers offense is no joke. So I think it has the potential to be a very high scoring game. And I would like to see that, man. Even if we lose, which would obviously suck, but even if we lose and it's a high scoring game, I would love to come out week 1 and show the NFL that our new offense, led by our new quarterback, Zach Wilson, is electric, and we're going to be able to put points on the board week after week. So even if we lose and it's a high-scoring game, I'll take it. And Zach looks good, I'll take it. I think if we lose week 1, it's going to be because of our defense and not our offense. That's my hope, at least. But yeah, I think that I just, like you said, I want to see the Jets ultimately win the game, obviously. And I want to see Zach look good.
Like, how are we going to contain Christian McCaffrey, bro? Like,
that's tough, man. And you know what? I'll be selecting him first overall in our draft tonight. So at least if we're not containing him, I'll be like silently like, all right, let's go. So I'll be straight for that. But that's more your concern, I guess.
Yeah, man. But, like we saw in the preseason, that you can't read too much in the Jets defense in preseason, but at the same time you can, because we saw all the players out there, excluding Quinnen Williams and all those guys. But it seems like these guys have a little issue stopping the run, and that concerns me. We're coming off a defense ran by Greg Williams, and he prioritized stopping the run. It's kind of like the complete opposite. Like the Greg Williams scheme was about stopping the line of scrimmage and stopping the run, and Salah's scheme is all about getting to the quarterback and putting pressure on him. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Jets defense can, adjust and stop the run game, because Christian McCaffrey is, the best, if not one of the best running backs in the NFL. We also have to contain him running routes, out of the backfield. We have to, contain Robbie Anderson. We can't sleep on him. He's a stud. DJ Moore. I think the X factor for the Jets this game is going to be if we can get pressure on Sam, because we know what happens if Sam is running for his life. So hopefully that means the Jets defensive line will get there. V-Man with the donation. Appreciate you. Jets win week 1 and 2 by 48-14. Book it. V-Man is expecting the Jets to look very good this year. V-Man, I love the optimism, man.
I love it, V-Man. Pleasure to have you in the stream as always, man. Thank you for the donation. And what just came across my mind? I feel like when we see Sam throw a pick week 1, my first reaction is to be like, oh, like no, like, and then we're like, wait, all right, let's go. We just got an interception. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely going to be extremely weird seeing Sam out there for the first week of the season. You know, it would be different if it was like middle of the season or towards the end of the season, but the first game, it's just going to be so strange. And we know he's going to throw a pick. He's going to throw a pick, and it's going to be shocking to see our former quarterback throw a pick to our defense, and for me to be extremely hyped about it. So it's going to be a very weird week. You're going to be there, bro. So it's going to be even weirder for you. So that's nuts, man. You're headed down to Carolina. Why don't you tell the stream about that?
Yeah, I'm going to Carolina somehow. I'm going to Charlotte, flying Saturday morning. Going to be there and then leaving Monday morning. And we'll be live that Monday to talk about the victory that we had. But we'll see, man. It's going to be a crazy, crazy game. And I'm getting nervous every time I talk about it. We got a lot of previews upcoming. So let's pivot from that game and talk about what's going on with this Jets roster. Trying to see if there's any other breaking news that's going to happen that we can talk about. Shaq Lawson's repping number 50. What's your expectations for Shaq Lawson, Jack? Obviously, he's filling in for our other Lawson, but we don't expect him to have that type of impact. He's a former first-round pick, 4 years with the Bills, a year with the Dolphins. He knows the AFC East pretty well. So what's your expectations for Shaq?
Yeah, listen, my expectations for him are obviously, like you said, he's not going to replace the production of Carl Lawson. But is he better than Jabari Zuniga or Bryce Huff? Or John Franklin Myers, potentially? My answer is probably yeah. So did Joe Douglas go out and upgrade a premier position for a 6th round pick? Yeah, he did. So I see absolutely no negative spin on the Shaq Lawson move. I think it could only really positively impact the team. I think he could be a leader out there on defense, a veteran presence. And, obviously, like I said, he's not going to replace the production that we would have gotten from Carl Lawson. But he's going to be out there, and he's definitely going to be making plays. So for what we got him for, I think that it's definitely a fantastic move, and I see no negative spin on it. But people find ways to do it on Twitter, of course.
Oh, of course. So I have high expectations for Shaq Lawson. I feel like he's somebody that's going to be in the rotation. We have 9 guys on the active roster on the defensive line, which is pretty sick. We're so deep at this position. I'm happy Jabari Zuniga made the roster. I didn't expect him to, but I'm happy that they're giving him another opportunity. John Marshall, our 6th round pick, also made the roster. So we're just incredibly deep here. And I feel like the 2 sleeping giants on this roster, on the defensive line in particular, that we have not yet seen it together is Quinnen Williams next to Sheldon Rankins. I think those 2 guys are the ones that's going to be the best on the defensive line in terms of getting to the quarterback interior pressure-wise. And if you can get to the quarterback like interior, like up the middle, especially Sam Darnold, that really can rattle a quarterback. I have high expectations for those 2 in particular, and including Foley Fatukasi. He's more the run-stuffing D-tackle, but he also has been getting to the quarterback in preseason a ton. And Bryce Huff has to step up. John Franklin Myers has to step up. Shaq Lawson's going to be getting a lot of time. It's going to be a fun defensive unit to watch. It just sucks that it's not going to be as elite as we expected with Carl Lawson and Vinny Curry out for the year. And then on the flip side, you want to go back to the linebacker group, CJ Mosley, Jamian Sherwood, Hamza Nasruddin. Like that's a veteran, former Pro Bowler, four-timer, and then two rookies next to him. What are your expectations for these linebackers, Jack?
I expect, obviously growing pains because there's, young guys all over the place. Specifically Hamza Nasruddin and Jamie and Sherwood, we all got our eyes on. They're going to be the two young guys out there alongside CJ Mosley. And I think that the success of this defense as a whole, is kind of going to, especially since Carl Lawson went down, is going to rely on the play of CJ Mosley this year and CJ Mosley staying on the field and, finally stepping into that role that we all expected him to when we signed him, 2.5 years ago now. So, overall, I think that there's definitely going to be some growing pains, but I expect as the season goes forward, that they're going to figure it out. I say this all the time, but I expect Robert Saleh and Jeff Ulbrich to really get the best out of all of these guys on defense. That's the kind of coach that Robert Saleh seems like to me. So, I think that overall we're going to get it done and go out there and have a good year. I think in the beginning of the season, it's definitely going to be some shaky things that'll get worked out. But I think overall, I have the confidence in the guys that we have assembled. I love Sherwood and I love Nasruddin ever since we drafted them. I've had confidence in them for a long time. I'm eager to see if we can finally see what a healthy Blake Cashman looks like this year. Because that's a guy that I've always kind of had my eyes on and I've had high hopes for. And it hasn't panned out so far. So maybe we'll see a bit of Blake Cashman this year. Always optimism in the offseason, of course. But yeah, I think overall the linebacker core we'll figure it out, and I think we'll have a pretty solid defense this year.
Facts, man. So an interesting thing, I don't know if we touched on it, but James Morgan being cut and signed to the Panthers practice squad is interesting. I didn't see that happening, but at the same time I did. It's unfortunate that of all the teams Morgan had to sign with, it's the Panthers, the team that we're versing week one. Maybe they're just going to cut Morgan right after we verse them, and then he's going to sign with the Patriots, and then he's going to sign with the Broncos, and then he's going to sign with basically any opponent that the Jets are versing, because that's just our luck. He's going to spill all of our inside information, but we'll see what happens. What's your thoughts of the quarterback position, Jack? Because we found out the answers, the questions that we had about it was answered. So our quarterback number one is obviously Zach. Quarterback number two is Mike White. Those are the only two quarterbacks on the active roster. And then we signed Josh Johnson to the practice squad and inevitably moved on from James Morgan.
Yeah, Mike White as the backup kind of scares me. I've never really seen much in him, but maybe I'm wrong. Because, apparently looking on Twitter, all the beat reporters saying they weren't really surprised by it, saying that Mike White has been looking better, that James Morgan hasn't been looking good whatsoever. I felt like at the one training camp we were at, I kind of felt like the opposite, kind of felt like Morgan looked better than Mike White, but that was just one day. So, I guess overall, Mike White was the better option. Obviously we hope to never see Mike White on the field this year because that means that our boy Zach is injured. And, we're obviously hoping that never happens. So, the goal is to obviously never see your backup quarterback, but you still want a guy that you have confidence in if he needs to go out there and fill in the role to be able to do it. And I feel like that confidence is not really there with me for Mike White. I know it is with some people. I know some people, he did have a pretty decent preseason, but I don't know. The confidence with me for Mike White is not there. Never really has been. But it wasn't really there with James Morgan either, to be honest. I just thought he looked a bit better when I saw them. But overall, we just got to keep Zach on the field. That's the goal here.
Facts, man. Hopefully, like you said, we never have to see Mike White ever in our lives, and Zach can play every single game this year because that's the most important thing. I just want to talk about our expectations going into the season because we have to ground them, because I don't want Jets fans to get a little too excited and expect a lot of big things, and it's not going to happen, because we have to realize what the season's about, and it's about Zach Wilson, and it's about the development of this offense, this young defense. Like, we're going to get blown out some games. We're going to look terrible some games. Zach Wilson is going to look bad some games. Like there's going to be times where this team just looks really bad, and that's because that we are so far away from being a real contender, and that's okay. We need to have a season like this where we have all these young guys in the roster that's getting all the playing time, such as the cornerback room. The offense is going to be so young with a rookie quarterback and a rookie play caller. But I do expect competency on the offense. I do expect this offense to look 10 times better than last year. And that's going to be really easy to accomplish because that's how bad it was. But, just don't expect this offense to light it up every game, even though this offense is going to look pretty different in our eyes. Like we have to ground our expectations because this is not the year where we're shocking the NFL. It could happen. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just don't want Jets fans to go out there and think, oh, Zach Wilson's going to win Rookie of the Year because he looks so good at preseason. And you have to realize that, Zach is a rookie and he's going to have rookie mistakes. He's going to throw an interception when you're like, wow, that he should not have thrown that. But what you want to evaluate with Zach is how does he rebound from it? How does he learn from his mistakes? Does he repeating mistakes? Is he going through the progressions? All those little things. So what are your expectations for this season, Jack, in general, with the offense, the defense, win or loss aside, just what are you expecting from this team?
Yeah, I don't want to really give a record prediction, but I'll give just an overall prediction on how I expect the team to play and look. First of all, I expect it to just feel and look completely different with we're in a new era with a new head coach who we all have confidence in. And that's Robert Saleh. So, it starts with Robert Saleh and the all gas, no break mentality that he's brought to the New York Jets, and the culture that he's trying to build here. And it starts with him. And, with our general manager as well, who we all have a lot of confidence in as well. I think he's done a great job so far as the Jets general manager, trying to build this team really from the bottom up. And I think he's, it's his long-term vision is just starting to kind of take shape now. And so, Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, really for the first time in a while, I have confidence in the front office and just the coaching staff in general. So that's a nice feeling. And as far as the play on the actual field goes this season, I expect the defense, like I mentioned a few moments ago, to kind of have their growing pains and then figure it out as we progress into the season. I love Jeff Ulbrich as a defensive coordinator. Obviously, Robert Saleh is, coming off of a defensive coordinator job. He's a defensive-minded guy, but he's made it clear that he's going to play the role of head coach and he won't be calling defensive plays, which I love because I think the Jets need that CEO-type coach, and Saleh's going to fill that role. So I think the defense will definitely figure it out. And, the loss of Carl Lawson aside, we have a lot of depth on that defensive line. I think we're going to get it done. Now going to the offensive side of the ball, I expect, very similar things to what I just said. Obviously, Zach Wilson, a rookie quarterback, he's going to have his growing pains at the beginning of the year, but I expect a good rookie season out of Zach because I think Zach Wilson already in his rookie year is set up in a better position to succeed with the players and the staff around him than Sam Darnold ever was in 3 seasons as our quarterback. So I do expect a good year from Zach Wilson. I think he has the talent to deliver on that, and I think he has the talented players around him as well to help deliver on that. So I'm not expecting playoffs. I'm not expecting Super Bowl. I don't even know if we're gonna have a winning season, but I want to see us compete in the division. Definitely. I would love to go 500 in the division and squeeze out a win against the Buffalo Bills, who are obviously the team to beat now in the AFC East. I know we say that every year, but I'm going to say it again because why not? I would love to go 500 in the division. And I just want to see us play competitive football. I want to see Zach play well. We obviously all know he's going to make mistakes, but I want to see him learn from those mistakes, and I don't want to see him repeat those same mistakes that we saw Sam Darnold make for a few years in a row. So, my expectations are not overly high because I don't want to disappoint myself, but I'd like to think I'm giving myself realistic expectations based on all the moves that the organization has made this offseason on both sides of the ball.
Facts, man. It's exciting times. We know what to expect this year. We have to ground our expectations and know that this is a long-term vision for the Jets. Not saying that you can't shock the world. And I always bring up the New York Knicks just because if you told me going into last year that would be the 4th seed and have home court advantage and Thibodeau in his first year would win Coach of the Year and Randall will win Most Improved Player, I'd be like, yeah, okay, in my wildest dreams. And that's exactly what happened. Now, does that mean that Robert Saleh in his first year with the Jets is going to win Coach of the Year and we're going to have all those things happen and make the playoffs? But the Jets, obviously not. They're both not coincided with each other. But all I have to say is you can exceed expectations, and that's why we should keep our expectations low, because if they exceed them, then we're all happy. So we'll see about that. Anything else you guys want us to touch up on in the chat? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. There's so many things to talk about, whether it's the Bless John Austin cut, whether it's the Chris Herndon trade, whether it's red wine, whether it's Quincy Williams, whether it's, all these guys. Let me know what you guys want us to talk about, because there's so much happening around this team. The tight end position, we don't know who's going to be. Tim Ward as well.
I also have a question for the chat.
Yeah.
Obviously CMC is the front runner, guys, but I got the first overall pick in a 12-man PPR league tonight. CMC is the clear front runner, but I've heard pretty valid arguments for Alvin Kamara, even Derrick Henry. So what do you guys think, man? Like I said, CMC is the front runner for sure, but I want to know what you guys think. So hit me up with some of that. But in the meantime, we can answer some other questions.
Yeah, I would say CMC.
Yeah, it's probably going to be CMC, but I feel like at this point with the Saints where they're at with Mike Thomas out, I feel like Kamara is their whole offense, man. So I feel like Kamara is just going to be getting an insane amount of touches, and we all know what he can do with the ball in his hands. So I feel like Kamara could be a move. Or Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is worthy of going number 1 as well, man. So I don't know. With CMC's injury history, I know running backs get banged up all the time, but I feel like CMC is kind of set in stone, but also not really set in stone as well. Like, you can make arguments for other guys for sure.
I'll be taking Derrick Henry at 4 because I already know Kamara's going 2nd and Cook's going 3. So I'll gladly take King Henry.
Who's got the 2nd pick?
Isaiah.
Yeah, he's going to take Kamara for sure.
Yeah, so we'll see, man. I'm excited for the draft tonight. There's some Jets players I wanted. I was going to take the Jets defense this year, one league, but Carl Lawson, not going to take that. So, we'll see. We actually have a defensive player team, defensive players, and I actually drafted CJ Mosley. So hopefully CJ can be my guy. But moving on from the talk about fantasy real quick, what do you guys want to talk about? Mike says, yo, Jack, good for you, buddy. Your thought process on the Jets is as professional as it gets.
Thank you, Mike. I try, man. I have my flops and I have my good moments, but I try. So thank you a lot. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Mike.
I can't even speak.
It's all good, man. How do you feel about our backfield, Jack? You want to answer this one?
Yeah, I feel pretty confident. It looks like Ty Johnson's going to be the workhorse out of the gate, man. Obviously take that with a grain of salt because there's not going to be a singular back in this system that we're running that's going to be the workhorse. Obviously, we've all said this term a million times now, but running back by committee is how this offense is going to be run. But Ty Johnson looks explosive. He looks quick. He trucked 2 guys. So he looks like he could be kind of, he looks like he could be the kind of do it all back if we need it. Obviously, we know what we got out of Tevin Coleman at this point in his career. He's been with LaFleur in Atlanta, in San Francisco, and now here in New York. So he knows the scheme inside and out. So he's a great presence to have in this locker room, veteran guy. Great to lead the other guys in this running back room. And then we got LaMichael Pirine, who people are probably the least high on. I know Josh Adams was getting a lot of love towards the end of the preseason for what he was doing, and a lot of people would have rather seen him make the active rather than Pirine. But I know you still have your hopes for Pirine. I still have my hopes for Pirine. I think that he could be a good running back, maybe for third down situations or something like that. But I definitely think that I want to see more out of Pirine because that's another Joe Douglas draft pick. So we obviously want it to pan out. And then we got Michael Carter, obviously the rookie who we just picked up in the draft this year. Who we're all super high on. He's great as a pass catcher and as a traditional running back, of course. I can picture him getting the ball up the gut, outside, off tackle, a little check down. Obviously, I picture him as another kind of do it all, very versatile back, same way that Ty Johnson is, and that Tevin Coleman as well. Honestly, I guess I would describe our running back room as just like very versatile. So I'm just excited to see all these guys on the field come game time, and to really see how they're all used situationally, because I think LaFleur and Robert Saleh will kind of figure out the situation that best benefits that particular guy and go with him. So I'm excited to see how it all pans out.
Yeah, man, this running back room is definitely a position group to talk about. We got 4 guys on the roster. We got, it's hard to say who's going to lead the team in carries. If I had to guess, it would be Ty Johnson, but Tevin Coleman is a veteran that they love. Michael Carter is the rookie that they definitely want to get some reps. And then Pirine could be that short yardage back that, at the goal line, he's that power element, bruiser up the middle. So we'll see what happens. I feel like this Jets offense is going to make a break by the run game. We know that. And it all starts up front with the O-line. Can they open up holes? Can the running backs find their holes? And Robert Saleh said something about the running backs that they're trying to coach, which is pretty interesting. What they're trying to instill in their running backs. It's a different mentality. They want their running backs to be bruisers and physical. What he said, Robert Saleh quote, that's really struck me is say you get the ball, it's a short yardage situation. Saleh said he rathers the back put his head down into the pile and keep his feet moving than find the hole and burst through it. So I feel like he wants his running backs to have, even if they're not even power backs, like for example, Ty Johnson, and we saw him trucking people. You can see it happening. Ty Johnson never trucks people usually. So they're trying to get these running backs physical, get those extra yardage, fight for every inch. What's your thoughts of that mindset that Robert Saleh and the coaching staff was trying to instill? Because I thought that was really interesting.
I love it, man. And, we see the most success with the New York Jets when we're playing ground and pound, shove it in your face, running football. The success of the New York Jets in the past has been built on, defense and the run game. Obviously, we all expect that to change now that we have the Shanahan system with, LaFleur as our offensive coordinator. We got Zach Wilson. We got all these new pass catching weapons. But it's still going to be a very much run-based, run-focused offense. So, I love that nose down, fight for every inch mentality, man, because that's how you win football games. If you get 4 yards every time you run the football, you will never lose a game. My dad said that to me when I was growing up, and that always stuck with me, man, because it's true. If you get 4 yards every time you hand the ball off, you will march down the field. You will take the life out of the opposing defense, and you will march it right into the end zone. You'll take time off the clock, and you'll win the game. That's how you win games. So I love that mentality, and get ready to see the ball being run, I'd say most of the time.
Let's hope, because that means, it takes so much pressure off Zach. And I think that's the most important thing about what this offense can do, because if we can really establish a run game that can get, on average 4 yards per attempt, that's a first down every single, carry, obviously. And that takes so much stress off Zach Wilson. That's also going to open things up for Zach for the play action. That's going to open up Elijah Moore down the field with the play action boot, and he takes it to the house because Elijah Moore is going to be that good, as we hope. I just hope that we never get into situations. Well, I don't want to say we'll never will, because we will get in a situation like this. That's for sure, where we need to play catch up and we're forced to throw the ball the whole game because the defense is not playing well. We're down 21-7 in the third quarter or early in the fourth. That's when we're going to have to start passing the rock. And that's where we're really going to see Zach Wilson. That's my worry about this team, because the defense isn't there yet. And when's the last time that we were able to say going into a season that the Jets offense might be better than the Jets defense?
A long time. Maybe never.
My entire life. It's been
maybe never. I don't think ever in my life, honestly. Because even in 2009, 2010, it was all about the defense.
Exactly. My entire life has been defense first. So Douglas is flipping it around, and, defense wins championships, but at the same time, we're in an era where you need to have an explosive offense. Every single offense that's going far, every team that's going far has an explosive quarterback and explosive offense. So you need to be able to do that at this level in the era that we're playing in the NFL. Tony Romo spoke to the media today, and it's all over Jets Twitter right now. He he's putting Zach Wilson in a like in conversations that he's like guaranteeing that he's going to be
Stop.
absolutely
I
great.
don't even want to hear it.
Exactly.
I
Like I
don't
don't
want
want
to
to
hear
hear
it.
that, Tony. Like don't get our expectations like that. Jets fans, it's awesome to hear Tony say that. We know he's a wizard, but don't read into it because it's only going to drive you crazy. He said a lot of great things about Sam. I remember that too. So don't read too much
Yeah.
into it. As hard as it is, because hearing him say this stuff, like he wouldn't say it if he doesn't genuinely believe it. But I don't know, man. The hype around Zach Wilson's kind of dying down because he didn't play week 3 of preseason, and then Mac Jones got, he's the starter for the Patriots, and he had a very good preseason. So I feel like the Zach Wilson hype kind of died down a little bit, which I'm happy. I don't want the Zach Wilson hype to be happening. And what I mean by that is the NFL media, not us Jets fans. Like Zach Wilson, after his second game against the Packers, he was the talk of the league. Like, oh my God, this kid looks legit. He's very composed. He's making crazy throws. He looks ready for the. And then he didn't play week 3. And then, not everybody's talking about Zach anymore, which I like. Let him be low key. We don't need
Yeah.
him to be rookie of the year. We don't need him to throw for 30 touchdowns. We just want him to play, turnover-free football, winning football, limiting your mistakes, learning from your mistakes, checking at the line of scrimmage, knowing where your reads are. And I feel like that's, if we want to talk about a quick little comparison I have for Zach versus Sam Darnold that I've noticed, and Zach has not played yet, so you can't really say this just yet, but if I had to predict, the one thing that I've noticed the main difference between Sam and Zach, and it's not their physical talent whatsoever, it's the mind. I can listen to Zach Wilson talk football forever. Like, I don't know if you watch his press conferences, guys, but he is such a well-spoken kid, and he's so knowledgeable about the game where he's like educating me about stuff. Like DJ from Daily News asked him a great question about like, how do you go about your business when you're about to take a snap and you're trying to read the defense and they give you a look that they're trying to confuse you with, and they're, this guy might blitz, and how do you go about that, first reaction? Because when the ball snapped as a quarterback, you have literally split seconds to react. Like, you see something coming, you're anticipating it, but then on the fly, the ball snapped, the ball's in your hand, and what you thought you saw isn't happening. So then you have to react. And I feel like Sam's problem was that, where he would react incorrectly, his process wasn't there, and his mind was all over the place. I feel like Zach has a very good approach to the game, and his preparation every single week, he talked about it and how he tries to, really simplify things. And I was really taken away by just the way Zach speaks about the game of football. That doesn't mean anything. Obviously, that's not saying he's definitely going to be a great quarterback, but that's something that I've noticed. I feel like Zach, at such a young age as a rookie, is processing things a little quicker than a normal rookie would. I don't know if that makes any sense. You know what I'm trying to say, Jack?
No, yeah, absolutely. And I get the same kind of vibes. He just seems like he's very ready. And I feel like I'm giving the credit to him, obviously, but also to the Jets coaching staff
Exactly.
for putting a great game plan in play for him and making it look easy for him. And I don't know if it felt easy. I'm sure the pressure was on, even though it was preseason. He wants to go out there and look good. He's the new leader of this team. But it looked easy. He looked poised. He looked confident. He looked ready. And that's obviously due to Zach, but we also got to give some credit to Robert Saleh, to LaFleur, to Rob Calabrese, to everybody on the offensive staff, man. And for Joe Douglas as well, for surrounding him with talent this offseason, like we never did with Sam Darnold. So credits to the front office and the coaching staff as well, for kind of starting the build around Zach in the right way. And then, the credit goes to Zach for making it happen on the field.
Yeah, man. I feel like Jets fans are excited about what this kid Zach can do. I feel like he's going to make at least 2 or 3, highlight plays where we're like, oh my gosh, that was ridiculous. We know the physical talent's there, but what's really getting me attached to him the most is his mentality and his ability to process things and his knowledge for the game. We know that the Jets coaching staff tells Zach, like, yo, enough with the film. Like, you got to stop. We don't want to overload you. And Zach's like, no. Like, he's like an absolute, workaholic. And that's what you want from your rookie quarterback. So, tame your expectations with Zach. We're not expecting him to light up the league, but at the same time, we definitely want to see an improvement from him. We want to see an improvement from this offense as a whole. We want to see how he commands the huddle and all that great stuff. And I feel like it's going to be, a fun time with a rookie quarterback. It's a new energy. He has a new swagger to him. He has, that a baby face that, when you're watching him in press conference, you're like, wow, he looks so young. But then you see him on the football field and he doesn't look as small as you would think. I feel like that baby face makes him look way tinier than he actually is. But you never know. He'll grow into that body probably after a year or two with NFL workouts and NFL people, trainers. And I feel like he's going to get a little bigger as his seasons progress. So, guys, we've been live for over an hour. You guys are amazing. We get more terrible Mets news. Like, why am I a Mets fan, Jack? But
listen,
did
this
you see
is
what just happened?
I didn't, but I can say from my minimal knowledge of the Mets and just being your best bud that this has been a very hectic, weird year for the Mets. Started out on a big high, and then for the last couple weeks,
our GM just got caught for a DUI.
Oh my God!
Doesn't end.
Like, that's not even baseball related, bro. That's just
nothing's baseball related. That's the thing.
Yeah, like that's just like what's going on, man.
Right.
Like
we're not gonna turn this into a baseball podcast.
No. This is a fantastic Jets stream, and we're gonna end it on a high note.
We are. How about them Yankees? Funny, Brian. Cool. Yankees are great now. Awesome. Hope you enjoy them in the playoffs. It's going to be awesome for you guys.
Sick.
But it's all good, though, because I got a Zach Wilson rookie card. This is going to be worth millions of dollars one day. He's going to take us to the Super Bowl. He's going to throw 50 touchdowns this year. I'm just kidding, guys. That's not my mindset. Don't get it twisted. But listen, guys, we're waiting for more roster news. I expected us to have a live reaction to something cool that happened. I think Joe Douglas is going to speak to the media sometime later in the afternoon or the evening. But the big news today is we went over it earlier in the stream. Bless Austin is cut. Chris Herndon traded yesterday. We got some guys onto the practice squad. We signed Quincy Williams, who is the older brother of Quinnen Williams. We got Ward, who's an edge rusher. The tight end position's up for grabs. We only have 2 players there. We kind of went through a lot right here. So Joe is speaking at 5. Thank you for that. Is there anything else we should talk about before we end the stream, Jack?
I don't know, man. I think we pretty much touched on everything that we can at the moment in terms of news today. Obviously, as stuff breaks, we'll be there for you guys on Twitter and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think this was a good one.
Yeah, it was great, spontaneous. We had a lot of people in the stream. Guys, if you enjoy the stream with Jack and I, please make sure you smash that thumbs up button. I would greatly appreciate that. We got over 100 likes, which is phenomenal. You guys are amazing. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you guys. I'm going to be trying to go live more often. I also have a brand new sponsorship, my first ever big sponsorship on the channel. So expect that to be happening as well. It's a big deal for me. So I'm excited to, branch out and, become, a business partner or a sponsorship with another company. So I'm excited to, start that journey. And yeah, guys, I appreciate all the love here on the channel. And before I leave, I forgot to mention, guys, I'm doing a Jets jersey giveaway. And if you guys are interested in joining in, I'm going to pick somebody, right before the first week. All you have to do to enter is you subscribe to Jets Media, and then you subscribe to Touchdown Kingdom, which is my other NFL YouTube channel. And then you go on Instagram and Twitter, and then you see what you have to do over there. My accounts are NY Jets Media, and then you'll be able to, be a person I can choose from to win a New York Jets jersey of your choice. So hope you guys enjoy. Good luck with that giveaway. Smash that thumbs up button. Jack, it's a pleasure for you to hop on. I know that we're both busy lads, so I'm glad that you took some time out of your day to say what's good and speak to the people. And yeah, guys.
The pleasure is all mine, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. That does it for this one. I'll be live a lot in the next couple of days. So stay tuned for more Jets content. Appreciate you guys, and let's go Jets.
Peace.